to go for more early game aggression, because that was actually something they attempted before. Now, this could be a Grok first pick, could be a Gatot. The CC is
Oke
also
guys,
wide open,
kita lanjut
so
di
Team Egypt has a lot
game
of good
kedua
options. They have to be aware that whatever they don't take,
antara
Team Indonesia is
Indonesia
going to have priority
versus
next.
Mesir, coba.
Looking from how it is, like
Jangan
everything
lupa
is going to be.
subscribe ya guys ya.
Chichi actually been picked out by Team
First
Egypt.
pick Cici.
Interesting as how we are seeing Egypt
Lancelot,
actually
Diben,
has played TC before
Esmeralda,
when they were fighting off
Selena,
with
Jusin,
Argentina
Iesf,
at the Flying Clouds
Baksia.
map itself. So yeah, we
Kita lihat
talked about
mapnya,
how pretty much a
expanding
lot of the
river.
top priorities heroes are definitely going to be Gatot Kaca. Even Grok is one of the top priorities right now. Popular heroes to be picked up, but Chichi nonetheless is also quite a really good post right here in the side of Team Egypt.
So I do feel like Team
Ayolah,
Indonesia can
2-0
just
guys,
go for
2-0.
Grok again. And they can probably pair it up
Itu
with
dia
the
udah
Lunox as
ngecek
well if they
rambut,
want to
masa
play it
nggak
safe.
2-0?
Otherwise, you could actually go into Grok Hayabusa and then keep your options a bit more open. No, not going for Grok actually. Giving the option back to Team Egypt. They go for Lunox Export.
Lunox.
Oh my God. Interesting mind games coming in from Team Indonesia. The question is, does Egypt is going to actually take up on that offer? Are you actually going to actually pick up that Grok right now? And not only that, are you going to actually pick up your own mid laner as well? Looking on the side of Team Egypt, we do see that they keep on using that Lunox, and this is why they kind of lose a little bit of their own pools heroes, because most of the time whenever Egypt comes through with the combination of Gatot Kaca or even with the combination of Baksia, they somehow always picked up Lunox. But here on out, Hayabusa will be the top priorities for Team Egypt, and it seems that they picked up Gatot Kaca instead. So still, Grok is either they will be banning off for the second phase, or they will allow it immediately as well.
Indonesia either goes the Grok here or they grab an assassin. It's one or the other. I feel like you just go for the Grok regardless, because he's going to get banned out next, and you probably still have a solid assassin pool to be able to rely back on. The genius of opening up with the Lunox and the Export here is that they both technically counter Grok and Gatot. Therefore, whatever Egypt picks is not going to be the most ideal, and it also locks you out of certain strategies. It's a bit dangerous to go for heroes like the Farsa because they're going to be vulnerable. It's difficult to go for heroes that would be vulnerable to the Lunox, like the Esmeralda and the Alice as well. So they're quite okay with opening things up, and they will indeed lock down the Grok before the end of the phase.
Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Team Egypt, right, there's still a lot of the slots coming in, especially with the mid lane. So Team Indonesia, they can have a possibility to just shut down a little bit more of the mid lane, such as like Kimi for the damage wise as well, or they can actually just take out as well Farsa. Even though I feel like Farsa wise, it doesn't really have much of potential, but it may actually give a little bit of good covering for the high ground itself. So they take out Valentina instead for the mid lane.
Valentina di ban.
Valentina makes sense, since that is a very good counter to both Grok as well as Xborg. Xborg especially, since being able to steal that last insanity means that you actually use it more efficiently than the original hero itself. There have been many teams in the past that have actually lost picking up the Xborg into the Valentina, and Indonesia is well aware of this. Lapu-Lapu is going to be focused on the side of Egypt, so they are still thinking that this is going to be a double fighter side lane. But if that is the case, maybe it would be better to take out the Yisun Shin.
Yeah, kind of true though. So there's a possibility as well. This
Alah,
team
2-0 lah
probably
guys,
have
ya.
been thinking about how we want to do a little bit of fight between each other. But again, I talked about Kimi as well. This is one of the mid laners that has been doing well as well for the fight in WEC. Great burst damage, and definitely gives a lot of opportunity for the setup between the curtain call as well as AOG. So those are the things that Indonesia wants to avoid it out.
Personally, I think it would have been okay to actually leave the Kimi open, because that's not a particularly good hero into the export, but it is okay against everything else. So I guess Indonesia just wants to cover their bases there. Ruby also going to be taken off the table. So if Egypt does decide to go for double fighter, CC won't have to worry too much about being countered if playing too hard. Yisun will indeed be locked in though, so I was already thinking Egypt should probably get rid of this. Indonesia going to have a pretty strong jungler here.
The fact that right now we are seeing that Team Indonesia
Ini
most
sedikit
of the
berbahaya
draft
nih.
wise is getting a
Mesir
little
ini
bit more
kayak
firm. Team
Udah
Egypt, they
senyum-senyum
still
aja, guys.
have to find a way for them to give a little bit of loopholes to get in. Most of their AoE-wise still have not enough damage to burst down Indonesia. So those are the priorities right now for Team Egypt to take up for themselves. So what are the heroes options that probably be in favor of Team Egypt?
Team Egypt going to need slightly. Ooh, that's
Cecilion.
interesting. The Sicilian gonna be locked in. This is a hero that was actually buffed slightly in the recent update. They will also
Irritel.
go for the Irritel. So if Indonesia does decide to go for Granger again, Team Egypt's already preparing a counter for it, and it can actually go pretty okay against fighters if that's what
Apakah
ends up
Granger?
being the matchup. But Sicilian is interesting. Now this hero was buffed so that his skill 1 now costs less mana in the early levels of the game. That means it's easier to get his stacks overall, but he still does need time to actually become a threat.
I mean, the fact that it's a really good poking for the side, but
Joe
Joe
got
being the
Lennis.
last pick
Nice.
for Team Indonesia. Great covering coming out from Team Indonesia, and the fact that we know
Joe
Team
Emanis,
Egypt-wise,
yeah.
now they are able to actually cover just a little bit of the damage-wise. It's just that the fact that I feel like, is it going to be enough coming into the mid-game itself?
Nah,
Drop-wise
jangan
from
senyum-senyum,
Indonesia,
Mesir.
they
Malah
have the
ketawa-ketawa
lockdown.
deh,
They
Cok.
can be able to
2-0
do a
ini.
little bit of their setup as well, because they actually give that grog immediately. So we see how it was when it comes to Vivian setting up with the tectonic charge.
Asal
This is
jangan
the
main
question,
aja,
if
guys, Muhammad
Egypt
Salah
can
ya.
actually falter it off or even negates every possibility.
I am a little bit concerned about having to play for Sicilian mid. It means that they want to scale into the late game, but you are dealing with Team Indonesia on expanding rivers. They've got a Grok, Lunax, Isan Shin. They're going to be very strong in terms of those rotations, but they also have the Cho gold lane in the hands of Shell. We have not gotten to see this yet at all in the women's Mlbb category. So it's going to be interesting to see whether one of the top teams here will be able to pull it off.
Let's go. This is it. It's going
Let's
to be
go.
one more chance for Egypt to make it sure that Team Indonesia doesn't get into the grand final that easily. Give it up for the upper bracket finals. Indonesia versus Egypt.
Once again, the stakes here is a direct ticket to the grand finals, a direct qualification to the top 2 of the entire competition. And Indonesia is just one step away from having it in their hands. We can already see that Shell is trying to be a little bit more active on this hero as well. It enables it quite heavily. It is going to be concussive blast too, so we're not too sure yet if Shell is going to be playing Bruiser, Cho gold lane that we've been seeing with items like the War Axe, or if she's intending to go full tank or full damage.
The
Bakar
fact that right
versus
now we are
bakar ya.
seeing just a little bit of poking coming through from
Semprot-semprot.
Nucci as well. And it's somehow we do feel like on the earlier runs, definitely Team Egypt can just slow things down for Team Indonesia. But then again, as time passes, if they don't do a good rotation, Team Indonesia can take advantage of it. And coming on right now, Shell, just a little bit of overextension right there. Can they actually defend it out very well? Nana able to actually punish for that.
Really good punish coming in here from Team
Hati-hati,
Egypt.
guys.
Shell definitely felt a bit too comfortable going for that lane cutting, but I can't really blame her either because they saw that the Hayabusa started clearing the jungle from the purple side. You would logically assume that she would be towards the bottom half of the map to prepare for the turtle. But no, they were actually able to respawn to the lane cut behind the tier 2. So that's a nice early kill. Since it went to the Hayabusa as well, that's going to feel even better for Egypt. They're going to be able to start controlling this first objective.
Jadi
Great
dia juga
objective,
nggak bisa
fast-paced
manfaatkan
respawn coming up
sprintnya.
for them. Even the Red Man will not be able to do so for the side of Team Indonesia. Team Egypt, they know for a fact they need to be a little bit more sturdy in their own positioning so that at least Team Indonesia cannot catch up.
Definitely. Team Egypt now going to be playing it more on the defensive. They know that they don't really have the lineup that is able to take the fight to Indonesia for now, so they're going to position around to make sure that Nana doesn't get affected in the jungle. And by doing so, they also get the second bonus of allowing Nucci to farm. Unfortunately, by staying this close together, Vival is able to walk into the other side of the jungle and start stealing stuff.
Yeah, stealing all the resources that is required for Team Indonesia as well as Egypt. This is where the fine line that Team Egypt, they're kind of leaving a little bit of loopholes for Team Indonesia to take advantage. And I'm worried that if a lot of the resources comes in, this is where the fine line that Team Egypt can have a little bit of lower hand for them to fight it off.
Huh, was that a first item Sky Piercer for Cine on the Lunox? I feel like that's what I saw, but I'm not sure if my eyes can believe it. We'll confirm that the next time the item builds. It is! Okay, thank you, production.
Dia pakai Sky
Before
ya, dia awal
shoes.
bahaya.
Wow, okay.
Zini right now prioritizing, saying that I want to stack things up. I want to make sure that my damage just goes out of the way to just shut off all the players of Team Egypt. Now the question is, Team Egypt, knowing for a fact that some of the players, they do have the sustainability. We got like CG in the hands of Velvet. We got Vivian will be able to actually just tone down a little bit. The question is, when it comes to Nucci, right, they have the baseline, but at the same time right here, goes in for the Urgent Rapid. Will be able to pull away from the equation, but last season he comes in! Burst down Nucci for the kill, but at the same time right now, they are going to have a little bit of difficulty with City. Be taken out by Nate for the trade-off. Now Vivian will be able to push through, but Gel comes through with the flicker, surviving it out. But at the same time, Vival, just close enough to be tagged.
You can tell that that was actually a play made because Team Indonesia tried to be greedy with it. They went for a first item, no shoes, Sky Piercer on the Lunox, and Cine actually flickered forward to try and get their first Sky Piercer stack on the Sicilian. Not able to be successful though, and without the flicker, Cine got picked off as a result of it. So a bit of a punish there.
A little bit of punish as well right now, dancing again at the turtle pit right
gila
here.
nih,
Vivian doing a lot of zoning right here, making sure that Nana will get that turtle in the hands of Egypt. But somehow that's going to actually leave up a lot of the goal plays here in the hands of Team Indonesia. And not only that, this turret will be in the hands of them. AOG put out, does tags out one player though, but at the same time, there's no follow-up coming in from Vivian. And now going in for the tectonic charge, shuts down Uchi for another kill in the hands of Indonesia.
Vivian tried to go for the frontline catch onto the enemy cores, but then forget about their own backline, which was targeted by Vivian. Nana now gonna try and make up for that. Go for the steal on the purple buff on the opposite side. I will say this is actually a really solid start for Team Egypt right now. The goal is still about even with Indonesia, but I'm liking the composure they have. They are not allowing their game one loss to get to their heads.
A lot of really good trades coming in from both sides of Team Egypt as well as Indonesia. They know for a fact that some of the teams, they can still be able to cover things up back, and then be able to actually just have those gaps getting smaller and smaller between each other. But at the same time right here, they goes into the dive of the turret, and Velvet doesn't want to actually overextend itself, saying that, hey, might as well just give it up, because survivability is still in a crucial state right now for Team Egypt.
I would imagine by now that Team Egypt is aware that Cine has gone for a Sky Piercer build. So the smart thing to do would be to try and avoid fighting in places where the Lunox would be able to get very easy stacks on it. So far, that does seem to be the direction they're leaning in. They can punish Cine for going for a very greedy early item here and actually directly slow down Indonesia's scaling.
The fact that right now we are seeing Team Indonesia, they are being pushed back just a little bit by Team Egypt, but they still have this one last dance for the turtle. Let's see if they can actually change things around. They do a little bit of the clearing here for the minions of the wave, but at the same time, Nana has been spotted out by Shell. Now coming in for a fight, does move away, but goes in for the waves of the dragon, hicks it out, but still survive it out with the quad shadow. But can they make it through? It seems that Nana will not be able to have a very smooth ride, but still survive it out at least because Shell doesn't go for the follow-up, but goes in for the tectonic charge. And now moving along, Mufu Echo takes down Nana. Turtle will be slain by the Viva, and Indonesia comes through with all the kills right in the hands.
That was a bit of a mistake from Nana, a bit too desperate. She could see Vivian standing right there. If she had just taken the slight detour, walking around the wall instead, she might have been able to get to the turtle pit more safely, but literally walked into range where it would be easy to hit the tectonic charge on the Hayabusa. And that is a mistake that will cost them. Indonesia now taking the mid tier 1, taking the purple buff as well, and the last Insanity taking off Velvet.
And the fact that right now, Team Egypt, because of the fact that Indonesia had a really good pressure put out by the side of Nana, now they're getting even much more further beyond an upper hand in their side. So far, Team Egypt, they're losing their touch just a little bit slightly, but that's not going to be much though. Still, they have an opportunity if they can actually defend it wisely, because they still have their upper turrets as well as bottom turret.
Indeed. Egypt actually has pretty solid late game scaling. They've got Sicilian, they got Iritel, CC contributes to that as well. So even though they are behind now after that lapse in judgment, the goal difference is not that big yet. As long as they make sure this goal lead doesn't expand further, they will still be able to do quite well into the later stages. It's Indonesia who would ideally want to end this around the 15-16 minute mark.
The fact that right now Nana still tried to be tagged out by the players of Indonesia. The question is right now, the teams of Indonesia, they keep on invading, they keep on pushing on to Egypt, denying any movement that's coming in from Nana. Again, they caught up with the Mountain Sharker. Nana, why did you actually have to go front? Almost sacrificing your own body to the team of Indonesia.
Tried to commit for the Ogi Shadow kill, not able to get in range. Vivin nearly dead as well, having to use the AOG defensively. We can see that Indonesia is trying to up the tempo and pressure to make sure that Team Egypt isn't allowed to free farm the map. Now we do have to point out that Names is super far up in the lane right now, and Shell is going to spot her.
Shell comes in, doing a little bit of kicking, basic attack coming through, but Names will be able to actually fend for herself, not a problem with that. A lot of damage come through, but still, this is going to be the first lot in the hands of Team Indonesia. The question is, as they are marching into the fight with Team Egypt, can Egypt set up a really good defense?
They were able to take advantage of the distraction being made up top in order to secure the Lord for free, though I don't think Team Egypt would have attempted to challenge it regardless. They know that they're not really in a good position to be able to do that right now. Ooh, nice dodge from Velvet as well, making sure he's not in range of getting kicked. The goal difference starting to add up. The damage difference overall as well, we can see, is quite large, with Fumi Echo being a constant thorn in their side. This X-Borg is already 3-0 actually.
Great composition coming out from Team Indonesia. City might be caught off guard just now, but still, they might be able to pull through. Doesn't have much of the worrisome coming in from Team Indonesia. Now they just want to put so much pressure to the side of Egypt. They know for a fact this is the opportunity for them to just give more. Dire and Rapid been put out. Tectonic Touch doesn't get anyone but Vivian. I mean, they're going to be got caught off though, but it's going to be a good sacrifice. Monster Chakra comes in. Vivian takes down, but at the same time right here will be the cause of Fumieko shuts down Names as well. Now he's going to be also slated out by City, takes down Nuchi. Goes out, had to actually move away with the AOG, and Long leaving only Velvet with lifeline 1%.
Ooh, the members of Team Egypt are so low right now, and it's very lucky that they were able to survive that, because if they didn't, the game would be over right now. The Lord is pushing in bot side. Team Indonesia were able to turn around a bit of a bot engagement actually. Vivian messed up the tectonic charge because of a really good response from Egypt, but they still grouped up a little bit too much to actually try and get the kill on the Grok, and that's how Fumi Echo was able to get the setup and punish. Cine now finally getting that first Sky Piercer stack 8 minutes after buying the item itself. But that's not really an issue for Team Indonesia. They are now in control.
They are in control indeed. The fact that everything, the attempts that is done by Team Egypt right now is pretty much that we can see that the fact that Team Indonesia, right, they don't have much to worry about, because Egypt right now, all they can do is just react, defend. All they can do is just counter back everything that has already been set up by Indonesia. On the other note, Indonesia say like, I'm gonna put this momentum on you, you just have to play along with it.
Well, if Team Egypt is able to effectively play along with it, they do still have a chance. This Sicilian can be a threat once you get later in, but they really slow down the farm on it already. Vivian should be okay, actually.
Oh, last insanity! First down, Vivian immediately, and now comes in with the shadow kill. Fumiko will be able to survive with the immortality. Now comes along with the Mountain Sharker. Had to pull away, but here, and the Rapid comes through. Shell takes down Noji. Double kill to the side of Shell, and now leaving only 2 players of AG.
Destruction and devastation coming in here from Team Indonesia. They found their target. Fumieko committed the last insanity just to blow up the Qatar, and then managed to bait out the Ogi Shadow kill. But the only reason Fumieko was okay doing that is because she knew she had the immortality. And when Team Egypt walked out of the base to contest that fight, they got hard punished. A beautiful wall from Vivian to stop the retreat. This time there is no escape. The Lord has been taken. Only 2 inhibitors left standing on the side of Team Egypt.
This is
Aduh,
the
nggak dapet
second Lord
guys.
marching in, and somehow Mountain Shot comes
Nice.
through, goes in for the tech, 30 charge. Marvel will be able to take down Nana immediately. Those burst damage is doing well for the team of Indonesia. Now Egypt been cut to the corners. They had to survive, but Lance Insanity burst down no one. Unfortunately, Fumieko will be able to survive it out with the Ferragam armor, but a Terapis just to divide the conquer so that Team Indonesia will be able to survive no casualties.
The pressure has reached a fever pitch. Indonesia is wasting cooldowns, but it doesn't really matter to them because they know they are far ahead enough to be able to afford to do so. The Lord is pushing in. No tower down bottom, but no waves pushing either. Team Egypt might be able to buy some time. They should lose the top inhib, but I don't think the game ends here just yet.
Let's see if they can actually make a change. Vivian trying to make sure that they will deny any movement inside the base. But at the same time, they are looking for more. They're coming in for the crucial attack for the mid. Last Insanity doesn't hit anyone, but it's going to be enough just to actually bear open all of the
Udah.
bases of Egypt.
Yang penting udah
Base
hancur
of
udah
Team
enak guys.
Egypt is now officially empty. No towers left standing. 13 minutes in, 7k gold lead for Team Indonesia. They'll play it safe, they'll take it disciplined. They're not going to make the same mistakes other teams have of trying to force the end game when they do not have a Lord for the push. They're going to wait until the next one comes back out. And this is going to be the final opportunity. The time between now and the next Lord
Bahaya, guys.
spawning
Berita lah,
is
udah
going to be
14
all the
loh.
farm that Team Egypt is going to be able to get before the next big team fight.
Great respect coming out from Indonesia. They know for a fact do not need to pressure more, does not need overextension. They know this is the winning condition they are already grasping. Only requires right now for Team Egypt is that if they can find a little bit of loopholes that is done by Team Indonesia, maybe they can turn things around. But the question is, everything has already been gutted out. You got Shell right in front with the Waves of Dragon, and not only that, Fumieko comes in with the last Insanity. Crucial state for Team Egypt right now if they can actually just go away before anyone being taken out by Team Indonesia, loosen up a little bit of the resources, maybe they can actually counter-attack.
Nucci has finally completed that Wishing Lantern, so that is going to be a pretty important power spike here for the Sicilian. Unfortunately, Team Indonesia has so much backline dive that I don't really know if Nucci will be able to make full use of it. The scaling on itemization is a massive gap. A lot of the cores on the side of Indonesia are already hitting their final item. Even the Blade of Heptases completed earlier by Vivian, you can see the damage that is being output by this Grok and not much being used to punish in return because Egypt still needs more time.
Egypt still needs more time. A lot of this resources being stolen by Team Indonesia under their nose. And the fact that they know they are literally in a position where they cannot make any more mistakes. They cannot leave all of this opportunity for Team Indonesia to just get a hold of them. And now, with a lot coming in, they are going to actually push in. Might actually zone out just a little bit on the front line, but at the same time, look at this. Fumieko all by herself. Goes out for the last Insanity, does burst, but then again, you have Vivian comes in for the mighty swing, but at the same time, Mountain Sugar comes through. People takes down Vivian. Nucci will be shut down as well. Names comes in, able to do a double kill to Sini, but Sini unfortunately shuts down Nana. Names is the only one left. Burned to the ground. Names will try to survive it, but unfortunately, it is going to be 4 players wiped out in the hands of Team Indonesia. Bevel all alone to survive, to actually defend that crystal.
It's going to be a 1v3 defense. The members of Indonesia are a bit low on HP, but Crystal is wide open.
Last is that they open up, but at the same time right here, Crystal is already broken. This is going to be the first grand finalist. It is Team Indonesia!
2-0.
Your first World Esports Championship 2025 Mlbb Women's Category Grand Finalist will be our defending champions. Team Indonesia makes their return to the final stage of the tournament once again.
2-0
Despite their
ya.
best attempts, Team Egypt will drop down to the lower bracket. They will have one more opportunity to see if they can
Harusnya kita
find
pakai
one
baju
more
Indonesia,
rematch.
I mean, it is a good fight. You gotta admit that, right? I mean, like, there was a lot of things that we see from the first draft itself, but second draft, this is where the fine line that Team Indonesia, they show their experience. They show how clean they are when it comes to execution, and they know for a fact which ground they can actually hold, who they want to actually go